Hello, me homies. It's Alex with Formidable Felons. I'm so excited to be showing you guys Lady's Capstone program for the end of her bachelor's degree at Palm Beach State College. I hope you guys really like it. Subscribe, like this video, let me know if you want more. So this is just an excerpt from the Palm Beach State website from after we had our capstone ceremony. It says, Lady Funk, 35, wants to help people with mental health issues, especially those who get out of prison. She knows firsthand the challenges as she served a year and a half for a mistake she made 5 years ago. During her childhood, she suffered abuse from someone close to her family. As she grew up, she blocked it from her memory, which led to toxic relationships, thoughts of suicide, and wrong choices. She said prison was a wake-up call and led her to get the help she needed. She faced challenges, earning a degree because of her past, but persevered and earned an AA degree in psychology at Palm Beach State College. She faced some of the same challenges when applying to graduate school, but persevered again and was accepted to Columbia University and the University of Michigan. She chose Michigan and will pursue a Master of Social Work and a licensed clinical social worker career. Her dream is to earn a doctorate degree, become a professor, and run an organization that helps those released from prison adjust back into society. Like I said, I'm so happy to have her here. Lady was with me in my Psychology and Human Services Club. She was a wonderful addition, and she is just so wise and so passionate about this subject, so I hope you guys enjoy her.
Well, for those that don't know me, my name is Lady Funcke-Munoz, and I am a student in the Bachelor Program for Human Services, and I hope to continue my studies in social work. Today I'm presenting to you my capstone, L.A.B.S, L-A.B.S. which stands for Life After Blues. I want you to first start by, sorry, it's not working. We start in the right foot. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bell. Okay, so I want you guys to first start by understanding what is a lab. According to dictionaries, a lab is a place where you experiment, research, analyze for a better cause, for a cure, for something, for a solution. Well, let's start by just thinking of this capstone as a lab. You might ask, what does L.A.B.S stand for? L.A.B.S stand for me, Life After Blues. My project is about targeting the community that comes out of prisons and the jail system, the obstacles they face, as well as what can we do as a society to break the stigmas and open more doors for them. No, it's okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information. Why blues? Why Life After Blues? In the state of Florida, which my capstone bases here in our state, the state of Florida, the great Sunshine State, we have about 7 colors of scrubs that inmates wear. These colors identify them depending on the crime they committed, and also for the probation officers, the officers to determine where can they be and where can they not be. Blue is the color that determines maximum security. Maximum security, yes, it is blue, but so many times the crime is not maximum security. As long as it is deemed for custody, for time in prison, is automatically determined as maximum security. Meaning, even if it's a crime that might not be of maximum security, you're going to wear blues if you're going to prison. So my capstone is focused on, let's think about these people, individuals. If you look to your right, if you look to your left, we all different backgrounds, different genders. We're all humans. There's just a couple of individuals that made a wrong choice. It might be a small choice that they didn't expect it. Just in a blink of an eye, it could change. And many times we don't think that it could have been due to a traumatic event in their lives. But once they come out, they're back to civilian life, their sentence is not over. The sentence keeps going. And many times they feel that this is because society keeps judging them. So I want to ask you something. If they did their sentence to society. Why are we still judging them? Why are we not caring what happens to them? Why we create stigmas that don't let them progress? Thank you, Dr. Duff. So what is the population I chose? I know I mentioned it about it before. But I want to specify in all those individuals that have a criminal history. And they want to succeed. They want to prosper. But what happens, our society, especially here in the state of Florida, don't let them progress. They all have dreams, just like you and me. There are multiple obstacles that they encounter. And I want you to keep focused in these numbers. Within 3 years of release, 67.8% of ex-offenders are re-arrested. That is a high number. And then within 5 years, 76.6% are re-arrested. This is here in the United States, it's more than 2 million externally linked people are incarcerated. This is a bigger amount than the populations of Cuba and China together, which China is supposed to be overpopulated. I also want you to focus because the 3 obstacles that I'm presenting to you today are main obstacles that we could change. First, employment, then housing, and third, education. Employment. Employment is really hard for a person that gets out of prison. They're not only starting from zero, but just they have to face with the stigmas that even employers have. If you go to apply for a job, they might question, what is that gap that you have in your resume? Where were you? If they're honest and they said, I was doing time, they pause and they disqualify you without thinking they might have the ability to work for you. They might be good employees, even loyal employees that will show up every day to work and appreciate the job that you offer them. Second is housing. Even though most of these people just presented a small period of time in prison or jail, or sometimes many years, housing is a big obstacle. We already know that right now, housing is a little bit not affordable at all. So just think of someone that's coming out of prison or jail, don't have any funds, sometimes don't have a support system, and they don't have where to go. There is a high percentage that most of the people that get out of prison or jails go directly to shelter homes. But shelter homes is first comes, first served. If you're not at the first in the line, you're not getting a bed. And where are we ending up? In the streets. Many of these people also don't have any family, any support system. We don't need to be family members to be the support system of these individuals. Once again, let's put ourselves in their shoes. What would you do if you didn't have somewhere to go? Next. The third one is education. We judge these people, we call them ignorance, we call them criminals, we call them ex-felons, convicts. Yeah, they're a disgrace to our community. We might sometimes ask that they don't have the capabilities to go to further their studies. You might say they don't want to get studies or they don't want to get education, they don't want to get a GED. Yes, there are ways that they could get education in prison. They could get a GED. There are certain organizations such as Christian foundations, nonprofit organizations that will send you free books once a month and will try to help you. But once they come out to civilian life, the state of Florida creates a lot of boundaries, which allow the state colleges and universities to put barriers for you to go to school. Think of it, out of 5 people that are released from prison, well, as soon as you say you need a background check to go to school, they pause and they just know that they're not going to pass that background check. So why are we creating that obstacle? We could have great individuals the day of tomorrow. a professor, a student, or just any job that they want, but they just want to be educated. Through my research, I found, I'm going to be honest with you, there was not that many journals that talked about this subject. Most of the journals talk about how dangerous are prisons, how there substance abuse, how there is rapes in prisons, how we're wasting money on them, but not that many talk about what is needed to be done after prison. And some of the things that I found in the little literature I found, it was same focus that I am presenting to you today. I first want you to focus on the first theme. By creating obstacles for those individuals who are released from prison, we are increasing their chances of poverty. Out of 5 people that are released from prison, 4 are going to be homeless. Reason being, the one that didn't become homeless had a family to go to. There is said that the United States has the highest rate of incarceration for individuals in the world, with over 2 million people currently behind bars. But while the country spends more than $50 billion a year on incarceration, the economic prospects of people who have been in prison remains bleak. New research shows that ex-offenders are often severely shifted in making social progress upon re-entry in the society. They face stigmas. They already have their own problems when they come to society. Why do we create more stigmas? My second thing is the state of Florida, our lovely sunshine state. We have one of the hardest laws for individuals to further their education. I don't mean, once again, a GED, just to go to college. In the east coast of the state of Florida, there's only 2 community colleges that allow students to go to school without judging them. And we have the honor to be in one of them, Palm Beach State College, which is one of the schools that gives a second opportunity. And then we have Valencia and Orlando. Why can't we have more schools like that? If you want to further your studies, if you have good grades, if you just want to be a change in this world, let me tell you, Florida might not be the state, but that doesn't mean that we could change it. If we allow progress for people who were previously incarcerated, we could create progress in our society and decrease the rates of reincarceration. Once again, if we help, they will have less chances of being homeless, of having mental health problems, of having to end in the streets. They probably have problems with drugs, and then end up back in prison. It's all a circle that we could change. Also, the stigmas that are created by society towards those who have criminal records not only affect the individuals but you gotta keep in mind that some of them have families. Some of them are parents. Some of them are children. Others, fathers, sons, daughters to somebody. So this has also affected their families. When they have someone inside, that's a term that they use, you're also affecting. The children are being affected. So it will be a chain that also other people will be affected. I want you to look at this map. All those color, but I'm not, orange colors are the only states that allow second chances. There is a movement that is trying to start also in Florida, Ban the Box, where it allows students to go to school if we don't ask for a background check, or if we allow to ask for a background check, that we don't discriminate because they were in prison or in jail. And if you look, Florida is one of the states that does not allow that. They want a background check, and they want the schools to have the right to deny the entrance. In order to better my research and my capstone, I had 10 participants, 6 females, 4 males, that were recently in prison and that were released from prison in the past 8 years. These are some of the questions that I asked them in the survey. They go anywhere from, when were you released from prison or jail? Are you currently working? Up to, what resources will be able to help you succeed? From this survey, from this survey, as you can see, yellow is for women, blue is for males. If you look at the questions that I asked, the gender, of course, 6 and 4. How many of them were ex-felons? All of them. How many were they able to further their studies? 0. Nobody in the state of Florida were able to further their studies. Did they all experience obstacles? They all did. Were they all discriminated? They all did. Also, through the results, I was able to come to the results with the data that all these obstacles, they all presented obstacles in housing, work, and education. One slight change, which I found, is that males had a better chance at work because they were able to find work in construction, which women could do it too, but we could see that it was more harsh for women to find a job. The problem that we're facing. What is the problem? We're creating too many stigmas and we're not allowing people to progress. We're not allowing people to change their lives. Once again, they did their sentence. Why should we keep sentencing them? It's just a step to changing somebody's life. I have said this before and I ask you again. Let's put ourselves in their shoes. Let this be a lab where we could change and create a movement. Some of the solutions that I came up with from my research was creating psychoeducational groups, not only for the individual, but also for the family. Also, equal opportunity. If we incentive people to do better, they will do better, and they will want to do better. If we tell them, no, you can't do it, you're already creating an obstacle, and they're not being motivated to do it. Then why are we judging? At the same time, it is important that we allow people, it doesn't matter if it's just an ex-convict. I understand there are people that did their sentence for harder crimes. They did their sentence. There are certain limitations. It is true. There could be certain limitations like sex offenders. We could do aggressive crimes. But there are other people also. We can't just put them all in a bag and say they're all the same. There is steps for everybody. What solutions can we implement and how can we implement them? Well, the change starts first with our own state. Let's be an example to the rest of the country. I know that Florida has one of the best economies in the United States, but if we make these changes, we will also have more people paying taxes and not living from the taxes, which is the big concern that many people have. Let's start by educating people. The first step to change, let's educate people. Let's educate how can they benefit also from helping others. What is the situation that they're having? Why should we care? Let's go to our government. Next step, if we approach every single of our representatives, they will create more movement for our government. There are programs that many people don't know and employers don't know. There is the program of the WOTC, which gives approximately $9,600 break for every employee that they hire, which is from the that have been discriminated. This doesn't only apply for veterans, for certain genders or color. Ex-offenders are in that list. So if you hire one person that is an ex-offender, you'll get a tax credit. If we go to our representatives, we could create more grants that help these people progress and at the same time our community. And the third step, which I recommend, is L.A.B.S. What is L.A.B.S? A psychoeducational program that we should implement starting in our state. A lab, what I said at the beginning, let's think of this as a lab, a place that we're just gonna research, think, focus, and make a change. With psychoeducational groups that they have, once they come out, they'll be able to not only help them with the process, help them with the obstacles, but help them find those resources that will be able to make them better people according to our society and not the stigmas. I'm calling you for action. Let's, once again, look at to your right, look at your left. We're all humans, we're all individuals. Just some of us, or some of individuals, make mistakes. And sometimes we don't ask what happened to you. It takes one person to ask you, are you okay? And it will make a difference. It has already started in some states. We could do it today. Starting December 1st, the federal government has created a new law which some of the federal agencies don't have to ask for a background check and give an opportunity. We also have about 15 states that have started a difference. So why is Florida holding back? When we think about it, Florida has it's going to be the third state that spends more money in prisons. There is a term that says you go to Florida on vacations and you live on probation because it's mostly where everybody gets incarcerated. So if you ask me if this is something that could work, where are the stories of success? There are stories of success, and I will show you some. I have these three wonderful individuals. You see them? They're not only good-looking individuals, but I'm going to tell you, we have Mr. Devon. He's here from the state of Florida. He did 15 years in prison for drugs and trafficking. Guess what? When he came out, he decided to just be a difference. He wanted to change. He went to law school. He went to Nova. Yes, he can practice because the state of Florida doesn't allow him to practice. But he has created a nonprofit organization that wants to help to get ex-felons the right to vote and help them to change. Then we have Mr. Sanchez. He's also from Florida. He went to Valencia, the school that gives opportunities, just like Palm Beach State College. And then he went to Miami University, another law student. Yes, he can practice, but he's one of the main people that is trying to come ban the box here in the state of Florida. Then we have Mr. West. They were thinking of him as the future football player in Texas. He had a drug problem, and he was looking at 65 years in prison. He did about 7. He got out, he fought, he went to school in Texas because Texas has, even though it's like Florida, they have less strict laws. But he became a professor. He went for criminal justice, and he's now a professor and a renowned author. Those who've done the research, he's been known for fighting and teaching young people. This is where you could end up. And let's not judge. I was one of those people that judge. At one point in my life, I used to hire people. And if I saw a criminal record, I said, oh no, I don't want to hire them. But that's when it leads to life changes. We are here today. We don't know where life takes us tomorrow. And it takes you to my last success story. Yes, that's me. 3 years ago, I was released from prison. Yes, I had a great job. Yes, I had a great house. But nobody knew that I was sexually abused when I was little. And I had many depressions. Didn't know how to handle my money. Many times, In my depression, I lived in my car and slept in my car. My family didn't know. My husband was overseas. He didn't know what I was going through. He just thought, damn, she probably is a little psycho. And where did it lead me? I made one best step with money, and it led me to Ocala, one of the worst prisons in the country. Then to Homestead, a small prison that there's not enough room. And today, 3 years later, in front of you, in a school that gave me a chance to seek my dreams. 3 weeks from now, I'll be graduating in the first group of the bachelor program. And in January, I'll be attending my master's. Yes, no university in the state of Florida allowed me to go to school. They said, you have great grades. You are an honor student. But oops, you are an ex-felon. We can't have you. I didn't let that stop me. I applied to University of Michigan. I applied to Columbia University. And I am in front of you today telling you you could do it. They could do it. So if there's not been enough success stories, and see me in front of you telling you today, this is why I chose this capstone, I want you to think again. Look to your right, look to your left. We're all humans. We have dreams. Let's not judge. Let's open doors. Will not only help them, but it will help everybody in this community. I have a past. You all have a past. We just have different choices with me. Let's make a change in our state. I might go to school in another state because my chances weren't here. But that doesn't mean that our state can't stop fighting for those individuals that deserve a second chance. Thank you, everyone.
All right. All right, awesome job. So any questions? Any questions for Lady? All right, I'm actually.
I just want to give you applause for.
Hold on. Okay. The live stream people at home. The live stream people at home can't hear you without the.
I just want to give you applause for your courage to self-disclosure. I saw my life. This is an amazing experience for me here. I saw my life dealing with bullying, to be affected with mental disorders, to be induced to substance use disorders, to be coming out of prison myself and from homeless shelter. I came here and out here at the Focus campus, and to I finally became a student myself. And so I see your passion, and I'm so happy I came to this college. And I didn't see that question. If I did, I probably would never answer it. I would just ripped up the application. So it is very important, and it's something that concerns me too, because I just a little hesitate about going to university because of that. However, I want to look more into fighting it instead of, I have an idea to go around it. One of my biggest things is to work with the juvenile court systems, and because a lot of these youth that are being juvenile disadvantaged kids, working in being charged with these crimes, they get hit with repetitive, and I think our court systems are more into playing capital punishment instead of capital rehabilitation, and that's something that is a trend that leads to adulthood, and that's something I would like to see this happen, because we can get inside our juvenile court systems and our youth before they turn 19, because the district attorneys are just trained just to hit them and even go back to try to get these bars, because now these kids are getting more and more being charged with adults at the age of 16, 17. So have you run into any of those things there of that in your research? Because they're coming out of jails at a young age and really have a worse disadvantage. I mean, I don't know if you experienced or seen that in your research, but that's something I'm trying to go in and try to help mentoring there.
Here in the state of Florida, it's more about we sentence you and you're out. you're out in the world, and you were setting you up for failure. I was blessed enough to have an amazing husband, an amazing family, amazing professors, that I was honest from the beginning and told them, this is my situation. And they said, there is no marathon. You could do this school. But as you said, I've met people, and in the survey, which I did it through Facebook, I found a couple of groups and people that I happen to know in prison. Yes, they just feel that they go back in a circle. Not too long ago, I personally knew someone that was in probation. And they went to check the house, I don't know if anybody's familiar. They went to check the house. They had records that her partner used to be in the military and had a gun. And the probation officer didn't have the paper with them. They sent her to jail. It was just like a sentence. They had her in jail for a week. And they were like, oops, I'm sorry, we done made a mistake. Now you could go back outside. So it's really a broken system that, as you said, is not focused on rehabilitation. It's not focused on helping. And it's not only for adults, like I'm an adult, an ex-felon, but there's so many children that were misunderstood, that as my classmates presented, were victims of drugs, bullying, and nobody took the time to focus. If we create all these programs, these capstones a reality, there will be less people in prison. There will be more rehabilitation programs. There will be more people that will help the society. Did I answer?
Awesome.
Thank you, Angel. And I'm sorry, the sky is the limit. So don't worry. I was a person that worried. I got rejected many times, and I'm still fighting. And as I said, January, I'm gonna continue. Here, masters, here I come. And nobody's gonna stop me. You tell me I fall once, I'll get up 3 times. They said that there's a saying that I go by that says, you're not a failure, you didn't fail, unless you give up. And it's about not giving up. And that's the problem, why we need to focus on these solutions. Don't let people give up. Give them a motivation, give them an opportunity. And if you give it to them, they'll cherish it. And they will go for it. And thank you on the way. Thank you, Angel.
Any other questions for Lady? All right. Come on. Big room.
Thank you again for such a wonderful presentation and sharing so much about your very personal connection to this topic. I was curious if in your literature review or if any of your research, if you had any recommendations or findings for suggestions for how to support folks pre-release. So before they're released from prison.
There are certain programs when I can only speak for, I didn't find many research or journal reviews, which I hope to pursue my doctorate one day, and for this to be part of my dissertation. But there's not that many programs out there. Basically, when they're preparing you to be released, they have you sign a form. Do you have anybody that is going to be waiting for you? Do you need to find a shelter? These are your belongings. Do you need any belongings? And that's all they give you. There's nothing else. Then they just put you on the door with your blue bag. If you have a Bible, which most of everybody comes out with a Bible, and that's all you have. There's no preparation. You are on your own. And if we were able to not only establish programs, which I think one of the best programs will be a psycho-educational program, but also programs that previously help them prepare for what they're looking at. Because once you are inside a prison, it's a different world. Your world stops. That's why also blue was such a big color for me. Because all you could see is the sky. You could be calling a line, stay to the right, and you will see out of 10 people, 8 are looking up because there's nothing else you could look but the sky. So yeah, there's no preparation. There's a new world that you don't know. Anyways, thank you, Dr. Stefano.
Any other questions for Lady? All right, so big round of applause for Lady. Yay.
Thank you.